Hey everyone, welcome to the second episode of the VSRG podcast. I am your host Etienne, and today we are joined by two of the best clone hero players in the entire game. Tell the people how you are, Acai and Randy.
Yo,
I'm
what's
doing
going on?
pretty good.
I'm doing fan-fucking-tastic.
Which one's doing better?
Me.
We're gonna get into that.
I was gonna say, let's not start already. No, but how have you guys been? How the streams been going?
I guess I'll start. I mean,
Yeah, you're the one actually streaming, so
yeah, dude, I'm on the hustle, dude. They've been going really well. Like I've found like a cool niche that I could like stick to with my streams lately, and it's just been fun like grinding them out. Like I mean, at this point, I'm doing like regular like 6 to 7 hour streams, and they feel like they go by in like 30 minutes. It's like just it feels like mechanical at this point. It's like I don't even have to think about it.
Oh wow,
Pretty
that's awesome.
Mhm.
that is fucking great. I need that feeling back, cause dude, I think I'm shifting into a sort of different content creation lately.
Yeah.
You
No,
can see with
I
some of
know.
the stuff that I do.
I know all too well how that's
Yeah,
like.
it goes in circles. I'm gonna be completely honest because this happens to me every couple of months. I'm grinding the streams. I feel fucking great about them, but then like the YouTube content is literally just a clip with a funny thumbnail. That's it.
In my case, what it's like is like I'll do like a bunch of streams. It feels like very mechanical. It feels really good, but then after a while, it's like I lose steam, and it's like I feel like I'm stagnating. It's like, all right, like, am I gonna do like a complete like sea change kind of shit, like completely shift it, or just like I don't know what I'm doing. It's like that's like the worst feeling to have as a streamer.
You know what does give me hope about some of this some of the content that I feel is lackluster. Like I say, for me at least, I don't, because like fucking sicko mode is literally just a clip. There's no editing. There's no editing in that, dude. But then like. There's some stuff that I put my goddamn hardest work into, or I edit it and try to make it fun, and those things don't even like they don't really phase well with the viewers, and that's okay.
I mean,
I'm
yeah,
okay with that.
It's like the whole reaction thing. I mean, reaction videos, as I've said before a couple months ago, it's like the gold standard of YouTube. Like that is what pulls people in.
It is.
It's always the best feeling ever when it's like the stars align and you put a video out that you're like so passionate about and uploading, and it does do incredibly well. Like that's like there's never a better feeling.
Exactly.
No, yeah, that's great. Yeah.
100% that happens a lot. With both you and me, like both of our content, there's some stuff that we're super proud of and we put out, and it goes viral, and that's awesome.
But then there are the videos that like you put your heart into and like you think it's gonna do well because you think your audience is gonna take to it, but then you upload it and it's like it just kind of tanks, and you're like, man, like this video's being slept on, dude.
Yeah, no, I felt that my fucking montage video.
It's kind of like how you have to understand what concepts your audience likes, because they do like conceptual videos, they do like in-depth stuff. It's just what concepts, and then it becomes like a guessing game at some points, because you're like, oh, they would love this, and then they're like, we like it, but
And the thing is like what your audience wants like changes over time too. So it's like you think they want one thing, but then it's like a little bit too late, and then you realize they want something else. So it's like you gotta follow your audience, and it's hard to tell where they're going sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. So besides like the streaming and stuff like that, how about the scores in general? How have your scores been? Like any new FCs, anything crazy happened lately, or noticeable skill improvements?
On my end, I feel like I've been getting a lot better with like strumming in general now, like rake strumming and just normal strumming. Like I got like my newest video I uploaded, the Weight Ends 150 FC, like that's like one of my best strumming FCs. But during that stream, I did some like strumming FCs that are arguably like way harder than that, and I'm like so excited to get them uploaded because they're like songs that I never imagined I'd be able to do, but like it's just like something clicked, and like now I'm able to handle that kind of stuff, like stuff that's like so like endurance heavy and just like kills your arm. Like I feel like I'm getting like I could tolerate that stuff
like
so much better now.
like some rewind shit, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Telos.
Like the newest FC, or one of the FCs from that stream is a song that's supposed to be coming out for CTH3, Carpal Tunnel Hero 3. And I got sent the chart early because the guy who charted it assumed like, oh, he's not going to be able to get this. This is like so bad. It's like it puts like Telos to shame. It's like it has like it has like 3 instances where it's basically that Telos strumming moment, but arguably way worse, and it lasts a lot longer too. Like there are moments in like those strumming bits where it goes on for like 1,200 notes straight.
Oh my god.
Pure hell.
And miss me with that shit. Seriously.
I'm gonna be uploading that soon, and I look forward to that. Not only just because like it's a great song and it's a great FC too, but it'll be a nice kind of way to tease what's going to be coming out for Carpal Tunnel Hero 3 as well. Showcase like what's going to be on it. So
no, yeah, that'd be sick.
It'll be like good on both fronts.
Have you been improving at strumming stuff only because like you've started actively going out of your way to practice it more, or is it like, oh, maybe I should stop being a bitch, like, you know, because that's how I am sometimes with like improve, because it's like sometimes, do you really want to go through the pain?
No, I never do, but like it's like sometimes you need to man up. But like really what happened was I wasn't like constantly practicing strummy stuff to like get on my A game or anything. Like there'll be like periods where it's like I just want to go for some strummy boy FCs, like just put my endurance to the test kind of deal. But like I do those like so periodically that like it's always cool to like come back to doing some strummy boys like 3 months later and notice all the improvements I had as far as my endurance goes without even realizing I improved on it. And that's pretty much what happened like in these recent streams. So that's like, it's like sometimes you don't even notice when you're improving. It just comes naturally.
Yeah,
and then you realize it.
That's what I like felt. I mean, you know, when the whole RAFnet explosion happened and I finally got like both of my adapters in the mail and I got my Wii guitar, and then something felt different about it. Something felt fucking insane about the RAFnet guitars, like and then like they surged in popularity after I told everybody to just go and buy them, because they're for some reason they're just so good.
It's like it's the lack of like any input delay, as well as like being able to get your pull rate exactly how you want it. It's like those seem like such minor things, but they really make a huge difference. Like,
yeah. Any hardcore player that wants to improve and they like the shape of the they like the shape of the Les Paul instead of the Explorer. If you like the Explorer, be my guest. Continue using that. You are potentially putting yourself at a disadvantage. That's all I'm going to say about it. But that's just how I feel.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's such a. It's not really noticeable if you aren't like one of the top players. Like, I mean, by all means, go with whatever controller is most comfortable to you.
Right.
But like, once you reach a certain point of skill, it's like that difference in input delay and pull rate. It really actually starts to add up, and like, it's not like it's like a magical guitar that does any better. It just curtails to like top players and being able to have it work around their skill sets a bit better, because
it allows them to do so much more. Yeah,
it's like a lot of like what the top players do to like hit some of the stuff they do comes down to like abusing their controllers like strong suits to be able to make it work for them, like rate strumming.
And if you don't believe us, just look at Borealis's video history.
Oh yeah, I have noticed.
Whole channel.
I have definitely picked up on that,
because that boy is the fucking future.
Just wait till he turns 12 years old. It's gonna be all over, dude.
No, he FC'd Crisis City. He's now a teenager.
Once he gets out of preschool, it's all over.
Dude, they're fucked.
Yeah.
I'm scared, man. I'm gonna be dethroned.
Yeah, because like when I saw Borealis and I saw how much he like sweat at the game already, and I was like, wow, this dude has a lot of potential. Then he came into my chat. He was like, "Dude, none of my guitars rake strum," and I was like, "Dude, just play on it a little bit more. I promise it'll work out."
It's like you gotta hone it a little bit.
I was like, you gotta like put some time into it, because he came to me and he was like, "Yo, I have 3 less that don't rake, and I have the adapter. What do I do?" And I was just like, "Dude, play on it. Just play on it for a little bit, and then now look where he is."
You know what that reminds me of as well? You remember back when like Pang finally made the shift over to GH3 PC, and he was playing on his like scuffed PC where he was only able to get like 100 frames per second, and he was already able to hit so much insane shit. Everyone was like, "Dude, just get like a fucking supercomputer where you could play at like 2,000 frames per second. I guarantee you're gonna become the best player ever." And that's what happened.
And that's what happened, dude. All right. I want to have a conversation about FPS, dude. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. People have like, I don't know. There's like a lot of people that did not believe me when I was like, "Dude, I need 500 FPS to be good at this game." And I had a computer. I had a very, very bad gaming PC in like 2013 or 14. I don't know. It was just some terrible Athlon build. I think it was like a $300 PC in 2013. That's not going to get you a whole lot. That's just going to let you run high settings on pretty much anything at like 40 to 60 FPS. So I figured out all of the sweat settings, like everything to maximize your FPS in Guitar Hero 3 at the time. And that still, like it got the job done for me, but it was still like hovering around like 300, 400 FPS, sometimes down to 200 when I was recording. That was another big culprit too, because like I want to record everything, but I was not able to, because
it affects your skill at that point.
Yeah, it affects it, because there's like the amount of input that the game receives in Guitar Hero 3, it goes down when there's lower FPS, because the engine is tied to the FPS, and you guys know how good those games are. Have you
ever heard the argument that or not even, it's not even an argument, it's just objectively wrong. It's like the human eyes can only process 60 FPS.
Well, then what the fuck are the 100 note per second shit that I see people getting on GH3, dog? Like,
I shit you not. I have a quote from a forum I usually browse, and I still have it quoted in my signature. It's someone said like, he says, "I play in 60 FPS because the brain processes in 60 FPS."
That is.
Well, he's putting himself at a severe disadvantage.
That is some woke shit, dude. Seriously, when it comes to PC, you need to have your rhythm games. I mean, when it comes to Guitar Hero, at least let me clarify that. Have it at 500 FPS, 300 to 500 FPS. I recommend 500 because that's like the sweet spot. Most people opt for like 1,000 or 800 or 2,000. You don't need that much.
Yeah.
You really, really don't need that much. Cap it at 500 for any Guitar Hero game, and you'll be okay. Why? It's just because. I promise you'll be fine.
I honestly might cap my Eternia game at like 500 or something, because I think it runs at like something absurd, like 1,800 or 2,000. And I've been getting like recently on the recent clients, I've been getting a little bit of lag spikes here and there. It's been annoying the hell out of me for a game like that. So
you don't want to overdo it. Just get it at a point where it's going to be both smooth and it's going to read all your inputs.
No,
but
yeah.
In my case.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, in my case with the like frames affecting my skill, I didn't get it quite as much because a lot of the stuff that I played wasn't relying on like overly high note per second where it's like I need to make sure the game is reading every single input I put in. So even when I'd play at like 200 frames per second or something, I'd be fine. But like when you play stuff that's like very tapping like heavy, like stuff that like gets above like 40 or like 50 notes per second, just like alt tapping shit, it's like you really need those extra frames, because at that point, again, it's just like so many notes that the game needs to read every single input you're putting it in, and it's like you got to make sure it's doing that, or else you're fucked. But
this is how I feel now. Like obviously, this is how we feel now. But like back then, nobody really thought about this. No one actually thought about this at all, because we all had PCs that would run this game at like 60 FPS to like 200 at the most. Or Toby was one of them that ran the game at like 500-ish FPS. But we didn't know that was like a huge culprit into why he was such a such a dominant player like that. Like he got first ever Universes FC, and like nobody could do probably. I highly doubt you get Universes on like 200 FPS.
No,
Highly
like,
doubt it.
at the very least, you're gonna have a way harder time. And the thing is like we took that stuff for granted at the time, is because like our skill sets haven't reached that point where we really needed it, anyways. Except for the woke fucking people in the community like Toby, who realized that that's what you need to get by with certain things.
I'm
like,
sure
we were like playing catch up to him.
Yeah, dude, Europeans, they're ahead of time always.
Just some alien race that's like at a whole new level.
So yeah, Mafim was playing the game at fucking like 1,000 or 700 to 1,000.
Mafim was sickening.
Mafim was insane, and now he just does. I don't know if he does anymore. I'm not sure if he's quite active on Osu anymore, but he had these thing called negative infinity AR plays on Osu, which means approach rate. And so when you set it to negative infinity, and it's ran on like a separate Osu client, it puts all the notes or all the circles on the screen at once. So you need to know the entire map.
Wait, what the fuck? I'm looking at Mafim's channel right now as like a brief aside. Like I haven't like kept up with him, and like his Osu videos are all like, they got like a ton of views. Like he just like,
yeah, they're crazy.
He found his craft with Osu.
This is like the equivalent to setting note speed 0 or note 1 on Clone Hero. It's like less than that, obviously, because it's in fucking negative infinity.
Yeah, all the notes are on the screen right then and there, and usually their FPS is like 80 at max until the notes start going away more and more.
See, the thing is like, that's what's fun being like a top player as well, is when like standard FCs aren't fun for you anymore, so you're like trying to find ways to set yourself at a huge disadvantage just to make it more fun. Like you're challenging yourself at that point. And I love that shit. That's why I do like all these stupid FCs that are like uniquely dumb, because it's like I want to find a way to make these songs that are easy for me normally fun.
I always found anti-meta stuff very fascinating. I have such a huge respect for it, especially the whole concept of speeding disc songs on like 275% speed.
I love it, man.
It's amazing. Yeah, I love it.
I'm all about it.
That's what inspired me to make like I made like a set list. Oh god, do you remember when it was like 2016 or 15, and I made like a whole Guitar Hero 3 speed up set list because you couldn't speed it up in the game. Okay, so speed hack for Guitar Hero 3
garbage
destroyed your FPS, absolutely destroyed it, basically cut it in half.
Imagine like with Step Mania, how like you could go into your options and speed up the song in game. Imagine like the higher speed you put it to, the more it fucked your frames up. And
it used to do that choppy. To Step Mania 3.95, I believe, like an older version. If you had it like, there was this one file. It was like 1440 BPM, and it was all fourth notes, like just as a meme. And I noticed my FPS kept going down more and more to like 20, and I was like, what's going on in my game?
and that's what we were living with speed hack too. Like that's what we were stuck with. It was fucking terrible.
I always questioned that, because when I watched what was it, I think it was the meetup between you, Randy, and Panger, and you guys were playing, was it Red at like 300% speed? And and I was like, why the hell is this so hard for them? I was so confused. And then I read some more comments, and I was like, oh, that sucks.
But like we would manually speed it up ourselves to get around, that frame drop and stuff. But people,
at that point, it was more beneficial.
Yeah, it was, but like it sped up the game's board as well. It dynamically sped up the fucking.
It was literally speeding up the entire game to have it like match.
Yeah, that's what I noticed, and that makes a lot more sense. But that's why in my TTFAF progression video, that's why I didn't mention the speed hacking tool, because I found out it was hot garbage. So I was like, I'll just mention Audacity instead.
It was like at that point, like you're fighting like convenience over just being able to play the game normally.
Right. And I have some extensive research to do on how speed hack affects all the other disc games, because I recently picked up like an RGH to Xbox, and there's a dude going around, and he's making all these mod menus, all these speed hacks for these games on disk. He basically just implements the debug menu in the game with a couple of his mods too. GH Fear.
Wow. That's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, and so he's done it for every single disc game on the 360 that's Guitar Hero related. So I'm gonna try it out with like Band Hero and Guitar Hero 5 and Warriors of Rock, and really see how much that affects it. I haven't tried it yet because I'm not at my house currently, but that could be a very interesting write up as well.
Yeah.
So going back to FCs, like I was mentioning before, I've always wanted to ask top players of this game because I really don't get it how you guys are able to stay relatively calm when it comes to being nervous or like stressful situations in general when FCing stuff. Like and especially with a game like Guitar Hero, because you know if your strum bar, you can slip off the strum bar so easily, you can miss input so easily, and I feel like I just have to ask you guys, like, what are your ways of maintaining that sort of calmness when in such a strenuous situation?
I just don't.
You just go in for it. Fuck it. That's what I like to hear.
That's like my biggest fear, though, is like the worst kind of songs to go for FCs of is when the hardest part of the song is like midway through the song, and the rest of the song afterwards is easy as hell, because at that point it's like another like 2 minutes of you just thinking, all right, don't be a fucking idiot, just play it.
Yes.
Like, it's the easiest thing in the world. But nerves hit you so bad that it's like your hand is shaking. You might hit the strum bar an extra time accidentally because your hand is so shaky. You might input an overstrum. It's like your hands are sweaty. You might slip off the fretboard and like fuck that up too. It's like,
and this man Randy, he fucking shakes, dude.
I already have like mad tremors as is.
Yeah.
Like, even outside of things, like even when I'm not like nervous or anything, my hands just shake. So just add that when nerves are involved, and I'm a fucking wreck. Like my Fury of the Storm 150 FC, like there's the solo and then there's the final chorus. The final chorus, easiest thing in the world. It's like there's no reason for me to miss that whatsoever. But like during that run, that final chorus was like the scariest fucking
it just culminates.
thing ever. And you could watch it in the run. You could watch my hands shaking like fucking crazy. Like I like looking at my hand there, it looked like I was having a fucking panic attack.
What would you say is harder to deal with? Tapping under stressful situations or strumming fast under stressful situations?
I'm sorry, what was that? I think my internet cut out a little bit there.
I think it cut out for me too. Uh-oh.
Give it time.
Are we back?
Yeah.
We back?
Yeah,
we're back.
Okay, I'll just cut it out. No big deal.
So, you were saying like what's harder, like tapping sections under stress or just like easy stuff under stress?
So what is harder to FC under stressful situations? So would it be fast tapping sections or fast strumming sections?
Honestly, in my case, I don't find like I have much an issue with doing like hard stuff under stress. I mean, obviously it's going to be a bit harder, but like when you're in the zone, like nerves be damned at that point. Like you could just like you're going to play it normally. It's like so long as muscle memory is fine. My problem is when I have to deal with some easy shit that no one would have to worry about, because at that point it's like, okay, like I got to strum all these notes. I might overstrum. But like if you're doing fast strumming, like you're more like you're already strumming so fast anyways that your hand is just like dead set on the strum bar. I'm not worried about overstrumming at that point. But like when there's like long gaps between strumming or it's just slow shit, at that point I'm more worried because then my shakiness could affect it, you know?
Yeah, I got. Have you ever thought about using a heart rate monitor?
Dude, that'd be so funny. That'd be so funny.
I consider it. My fat ass is probably like 100 just sitting down. I'm gonna be honest. So dude, that's like, embarrassing for me.
Plus I feel like if I had it on stream, there'd be people who would actually like worry about my health at that point.
That has happened before. No, yeah, there are streams. I know. Was it Beast Troll MC? He uses a heart rate monitor now, and his has got up into like the 180s playing this game, like playing Osu, and that's not a very physically demanding game compared to other games, you know, since your posture is relatively stable. So it's like the fact that just nerves alone can enhance your heart rate that high is like fascinating, really.
Luckily in our case with nerves, it's like it lasts for a little bit, but it's gone as soon as you do it.
Ugh.
And like, I couldn't imagine what it's like for like speedrunners who are playing a long game and they have to deal with like 20, 30 minutes of that shit. Like at that point, it's like I'd be so worried about my health at that point.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
I have so much more respect for fucking speedrunners.
mhm.
After like watching and befriending a couple of speedrunners as well, and it's just like they are the most fucking hard-headed people out there, and they're the reason why like hype is such a huge thing, in live streaming and stuff,
Oh, the support is it's unlike anything really.
Yeah.
And the thing you notice about like the top speedrunners, along with like in our case like top rhythm players, like you realize how much stubbornness really adds to like your potential to do better. Because it's like if you are like the most stubborn motherfucker ever, like I'll have so many people in my streams be like, dude, just take a break, man. Just give it some time. Like just come back when you're calm again. I'm like, fuck no. Fuck that.
No, yeah.
Like,
Sometimes you just have to ride off that adrenaline, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's just you don't rationalize that though in the moment.
It's like the name of the game, and it's like, again, like that stubbornness like gives you so much more of an edge to get better than a lot of other people that just don't have the patience to sit down with a song and force themselves to do it,
Yeah.
And that applies with nerves as well, because it's like you're gonna deal with those nerves no matter what. So like you just gotta buckle up and just deal with it,
Hell yeah. So
What about in your case though, Alec? Like, do you deal with nerves at all? Like in like
Well, fucking
he
time.
imagined them quite a bit.
It's not. It's beyond game at this point, dude. It's seriously. It's real. Real, man.
But is it like the same case? Is it like the same case for me, where like you'll have like some easy shit that is all of a sudden like the most scary thing ever?
Right. So it like that's definitely a factor. I think when the last time I experienced something like my heart, like I felt my heart beating like out of my chest, like it hurt. Like
Oh
the
my
last
God.
time that has happened, oh god. I think it was like Tammy song 125.
Dude, that
Something.
FC still
Wow. Yeah,
blows me
that
away.
I do remember that one. That one was pretty sick.
Yeah, Tammy song 125. That was probably the last time I felt like my heart was like beating out of my chest. That or like WTF song 130 or
Yeah, that-
Silvera 250 when I got past the trills. Like
I
that's
still think Silvera 250 is like one of like the top FCs, like top 5 in my opinion. Like that FC is so uniquely bullshit. that,
Yeah,
like,
I
no
didn't
one else
really
would be
get it
able
when
to
I
do it.
saw it.
Like that's just something like only you could fucking do, dog.
it's just such a niche song, dude. It's become iconic in Clone Hero, and I love it for that.
But that's the fun too as a player, is like when you fully know your strengths as a player and just find songs that fully like meet your skill set. Because again, with Silvera, it's like that song, like skill set wise, appeals to your skill set in so many ways that like only you could see that song and be like, I'm gonna do it at 250.
Yup.
Who pops off harder, Alec or Randy? I feel like Alec pops off a little harder. I feel like I've seen Alec like actually pop off before and like get out of his seat.
Yeah,
I mean, Randy does too. He does too.
I do, but at the same time, I try my best to like kind of keep it toned down for the sake of not pissing off anyone else in the house.
That's true.
I have neighbors who basically like their children like basically throw themselves down the stairs. So I'm okay with popping off at any given time. My parents,
Yeah.
And my parents, as soon as I like picked up streaming and stuff, they're just like, you know what? If it's working for you, just keep it down in the middle of the night. And I was just like, okay, that's cool.
At the moment, like I'm trying to figure out like getting my own place at the moment, but like my family completely respects that like streaming is like how I'm getting by at the moment, and
Yeah.
in their case it's just like avoid noise. So like again, like once that's all settled and I finally make the down payment for a house, like at that point I'll be able to pop off like fucking crazy. Like I'm filtering myself so much that it'll be so fun.
No,
once
yeah, that'd
I-
be sick.
Yeah, I look forward to it. It ought to be good.
Just yesterday or 2 days ago, I popped off pretty hard at a score I didn't expect to get at all. And my best friend lives right above me. He can maybe hear me somewhat right now. But it was one in the morning, and I didn't want to stream late, but I wanted to get a stream in. And I finally nabbed this really sick FC with like really good accuracy. And I stood up and just yelled, "Let's fucking go!" And I texted him immediately after I said that on camera, and I texted him, I'm like, "Dude, I'm so sorry."
Dude, like, in my case, like, I feel like a lot of my reactions are so, like, one-dimensional. I just keep saying the same stuff over and over again. But I promise you, a lot of it has to do with me just filtering myself. Like, if I wasn't filtering myself, my reactions would be so much more colorful and stupid. I'd embarrass myself so much more.
Oh,
It'd be
man.
great.
So I want to bring this up, and I feel like this is going to be very interesting to talk about, only because I've been wanting to discuss this with really any Clone Hero player, and that has to do with the ethics of ghosting.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So let's just get it all out. Let's get the general bases out first. So I want to hear your guys' general opinions on it first, and then we'll just kind of go off from there.
I want Randy's first. That'll be I do, yeah.
Mine is I'm very like neutral because like at the end of the day, I think like people should just have fun with the game, and it's like whatever means they do to hit some things, it's fine. But the difference is like those people aren't like the people who are like top players are like trying to consider themselves competitive within the community. Like I think if it's like if you're a competitive like top player in the community and you like at this point it's not even ghosting, it's just spamming, just straight up spam shit.
That's more or less what I'm referring to.
Like because like people will like ghost stuff whether like they're intentionally doing it or not. Like I ghost a few things where it's like I'm not intending to do it, but it's like sometimes my ring finger will like sometimes I'll do triplets and sometimes like it'll accidentally have a quad be mixed in there as well. Like it happens.
Yeah.
But like if you are just like deliberately like spamming to like do stuff, like I don't really care at the end of the day because I don't consider myself very competitive within the community. I'm more focused on just trying to build my own skill. But I could understand why people would look at that negatively because at that point it's similar to being like a competitive like tournament fighter player, and it's like you're button mashing at that point. It's like I could understand why people who would like actually take the time to learn like the combos and stuff in tournament fighting being upset when they lose to someone who's button mashing, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's similar, but like from my perspective, I don't really care either way because I'm just focused on like people having fun with the game and doing what they do.
Alec?
Okay, so all right, so I didn't know you're like mentioning okay, so ghosting at the very minimum, nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with ghosting a lot. There's, you know, the game doesn't, and also there are like disc games that do punish you a little bit for ghosting, but that's like the Rock Band games. That's like the old Guitar Hero games and stuff. But you know, all the games that are like developed by Neversoft, they do allow some bit of ghosting, and that's okay. I'm totally okay with that. But like I said, you know, with spamming and stuff like that, there is some funny moments that can come out of spamming.
For sure.
A lot. Like that can definitely make for some like awesome clips. Spamming is fucking hilarious. Because you can see how far some people go with spamming. Can I drop a video link?
Yeah, go for it.
I'll
even show it. That's fine with me.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh god. So I found. Oh god. Okay, here. There's so many to choose from. All right. What do you want? WTF sweeps 175 or you want Big Bang 135 or Fallout 2B 130 speed FC?
You know what? I think Fallout 2B would be the funniest because drills are not something you can easily spam.
Here's the fucking kicker. This guy plays on a keyboard. All right. This guy plays on a keyboard.
What?
So this is, and he has his inputs on this video. He has his inputs showing on this video.
Okay. I'll just check it out. Muted on my end. Let's see. Oh my god!
Yeah,
Oh, you weren't lying.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss because, like, you know, I know this dude. This dude is subbed. He he talks and he's like basically part of the the more try hard, the tappy boys. Buck strumming. We only do tapping, and that's cool too. He's like a part of that group, and that's awesome and stuff. But like just seeing this is just hilarious.
It's like ironic humor at that point. It's like something that normally would make you sick to your stomach, but you just look at it and realize how funny it is that the game allows you to do that.
Right. And that's basically this should speak for itself. This is my stance on ghosting. If it allows this sort of thing, and this is entertaining to me, I like seeing this. I
think it's definitely goofy.
Yeah.
In my case, it never really like pisses me off or anything. Sometimes when it irks me is when say if you're competitive, very competitive within the community, and like you find someone's video where they hit something and it's like, oh well, I did it at this speed, you fucking noob, all this shit. It's like, and then you watch their video and realize that they spam the shit out of it.
It's a kick in the nuts.
Don't give me your high horse shit when you just like completely disregarded any of like the like details that actually make this hard, because like anyone can spam anything. Like
of course.
There's no like sport out of it, but like it is funny for sure. It just annoys me when like people like try to act like, oh, like I am arguably a better player than you because I hit this faster than you, disregarding the fact that I spammed the shit out of it.
And okay, so my only gripe with people who for some reason still do that, I thought we were like over this, like I think with enough people preaching to the choir, just being dog, it doesn't matter, we're playing Clone Hero. The Clone Hero allows what we just saw. Fallout 2B 130 on a keyboard, or WCF sweeps 175. That's what the game allows. When you start talking shit like that, you will not survive on console. You will not survive on console.
Not at all.
You won't survive on Rock Band. And there's so many Rock Band players that I have so much respect for, and that will probably fucking kick asses of anyone who talks shit on Clone Hero.
Yeah, one thing that kind of annoys me as well is like when I'll be in my chat and like people who primarily play Clone Hero, like I'm not saying like they're wrong for thinking this or anything, but like I'll mention like Rock Band like in my streams and they'll be like, oh, Rock Band has such a shitty engine. It's like, it's not a shitty engine, you just don't understand like what goes into it. It's like it demands more like accuracy from the player, and it's like, and we take for granted how much accuracy really matters when we aren't like forced to do it with Clone Hero or like GH3 as well. Like these engines that will just allow you to do pretty much anything you want.
That's exactly what I wanted you guys to bring up, because I actually do want to talk about like accuracy judgments in Clone Hero, like an actual accuracy judgment spread to kind of signify how accurate someone is.
What I'd love is a separate mode that you could like toggle on or off like through the settings that will like have it like say like on the or like the top right corner, it'll just show your accuracy as you're playing it. So it's like there's the percent of notes that you hit, but it's also going to gauge like accuracy percentage similar to like Stepmania, where like in this case with like Stepmania, it's like they're both combined pretty much. But with Clone Hero, like just have them separate, because like you could see that they
like HJ, dude. That's what we want. Hard judgment.
It's like you could see that they FC'd it, but then you see their accuracy is at like 70%. It's like,
So what if there was like up there? What if there was like an early window that got implemented into like the next game, like Project Note Hitter or something like that? I feel like an early window would be a bit big of a change, perhaps too big to implement, really, especially since a lot of players would be quite thrown off by that. But I don't know. I think it would be interesting implementing an early window, given that the game virtually has none.
I would love to see like similar to Frets on Fire, but executed a lot better. Like with Frets on Fire, there are different like engines that you could work with where it alters the window of the game,
hit window. Yeah,
alters the hit window, and like and it like it'll make you lose your combo if you like ghost shit. I would love to see something like that in the future.
Yeah, that's one of the things I kind of missed about Frets on Fire. Frets on Fire had that idea, but I mean, in the end, it's a lot of things still felt, pretty much exactly the same.
Like it was a great idea, but just poor execution.
Yeah, phase shift right now in like how it exists. They do like track judgment and stuff like how many accurate notes there are, whatnot on any instrument, like on drums or on guitar or pro guitar or pro drums, stuff like that. Phase shift has that, so as far
as I know, doesn't it like you could see like it has the judgments, but it's not going to show that in like your stats or anything. It's just like in the real run, in which case that's fine too, because like if you have an uploaded run in it, like you could see their judgments as they're playing.
Yeah,
like you could decide for yourself at that point.
In phase shift, it actually shows like the percentage.
It shows like on the like where the flames would show up, because I remember in in Gamo's Return to Sender FC, like that he did on like his laptop keyboard, it did like show the accuracy inputs.
Yeah, which I'd like to see something like that as well. Maybe have it be something that's not quite as intrusive, like not like directly at the strike line, because that could be pretty distracting.
Oh yeah.
But I like the idea. I like the idea a lot.
If I'm honest with Project Note Hitter and stuff, I think it would be wise just to have it as sort of a novelty thing, like something that the hardcore players can look at and just be like, okay, wow, I was pretty accurate there. Not have it be something that you rank, not something that like is required on the leaderboards or something like that.
Like
that's my take. That's my take.
For sure, because like you want to appeal to like the casual market that isn't quite as competitive, and like if you have it like punish like casual players for that kind of stuff, I could see why that'd turn them off in a lot of ways. But like just a mode that you could toggle on that like it judges your accuracy, and maybe like a separate leaderboard for the same song where it's like you could see like just overall and then like accuracy like leaderboards as well.
Yeah,
like, I think that'd be pretty cool. Like
that'd be cool as a separate client.
Yeah,
that'd be cool as a separate client, and then we would have like a fun and casual regular one that we use when we just want to stream casually.
Yeah,
you want to appeal to both sides, like both casual and the hardcore.
Of course,
we're starting to see that kind of pop up. We're starting to see the divide, and not the divide in a negative way, but like we're just starting to see who's really competitive, who's really trying to get themselves out there with like disgusting FCs and whatnot, and people who are there just along to play for the nostalgia and relive some of the good moments that Guitar Hero gave them, and that's awesome.
Yeah, of course. So if Project No Hitter does have leaderboards for certain songs, and this was kind of the context I meant to approach the question, what would you guys then think of, spamming and stuff like that? Like, how would it impact you if you were to get involved in that sort of ranked format then?
Yeah, once, like, leaderboards get involved.
Like, would it feel disingenuous? Would you not mind as much? Would you, like, how would you feel?
I had, like, my fair share of, like, competitiveness in the community, but I feel like I'm kind of past that at this point. Like, I mean, like, I could understand why it'd annoy a lot of like in the prime competitive players currently, like because like it, but like at that point I feel like if there were like different leaderboards that you could look at, like say like there's like an overall leaderboard where it'll show both like accuracy and just overall notes hit, maybe a separate leaderboard that just regards like notes hit and nothing else, and then one that like prioritizes accuracy. But at that point you gotta wonder if that like devalues the leaderboards a little bit. So
I did notice
you gotta think about it.
I did notice in Clone Hero, I almost forgot to bring that up, how there's like so many different ways of determining how good a score is, because sometimes you'll play for score, sometimes you'll play for highest points, like for certain songs, and it always seemed like a little arbitrary for me because I can never really tell. Because when I did again, go back to the Through the Fire and Flames video, I was keeping track of like all the scores, and then I realized I didn't really explain it in the video. I kind of just went with it, how it turned from a score battle into like a race to an FC. And I was a little confused, but I feel like at that point, the community and everyone else is like, you know what? Just go for the FC since we're so close.
That's like, it's pretty much like the same thing with Solas For. Like, it started out like in both Solas For and Through the Fire and Flames, it started out as just like
a big score race.
Yeah, just like trying to see who could get the highest score possible. But then eventually you reach a point where people are just like, why are you going for score? Why not just FC it? And like that's going to weed a bunch of people out at that point because it's like, oh, it's not fun anymore. It's like, I can understand that. But then there's like the few, like the sweetest ones that are like, nope, I'm going to go for it. But at that point, they don't care about the score anymore. They're just going for the, they're going for the fucking jewel at that point.
No, exactly. You know?
Yeah, no. It's like, just like Darkly did.
The thing is yeah, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, by the way.
It's cool. It's cool.
Like, score is cool, but in the community, at least, like in the Clone Hero community, like FCs are so much more prioritized.
They're hot in the market
than score. Yeah, and it's like, if going for a high score is going to affect a potential FC, they're just going to dismiss the score entirely.
No, yeah, of course. And I mean, that makes sense, especially since how centered the meta is around that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's different with games like Step Mania, where FCs aren't quite the number one priority. There's more an emphasis on accuracy.
It's a mix. Yeah. I don't want to get into it too much what the meta's like now, but I wish that were I wish it were more accuracy oriented.
Point is like, there's different priorities for the communities.
No, yeah, I gotcha.
Clone Hero, like, FCs are just like the be all end all, and like, if you got to sacrifice your score to get it, you're gonna do that.
Yeah, of course.
If like Clone Hero, I mean, that this is something completely different, but like, you know, if Clone Hero had a completely different engine, if it was, you know, it was something similar to, say, Guitar Hero 5 or Warriors of Rock, I mean, I think we might be tied a little bit more on whether people prioritize score over FCs, because it's a much less like, if the engine was less forgiving, if the hit windows were less forgiving, people would probably opt more for like the high score thing, you know. And you know, with Clone Hero being so wide, and this goes back to like, yeah, FCs are very, very sought after. So easy to just be like, yeah, man, just go for the FC, go for it, you know.
I mean, the whole GH2 and GH1 always fascinated me with all the squeezing methods and the ticks and whatnot. I found that stuff, I never understood what it was when I was like a kid, because I used to scroll through Score Hero and whatnot. And I was like, what the hell is a tick? What's a squeeze? And then I found out.
I still don't know what ticks are. I still don't know what they are.
I got a pretty good understanding of it, because there was a point where I was focusing on like trying to get the highest scores possible and try to make my way up the leaderboards on GH3 for Xbox. And the cool part in that aspect for squeezing as well is like, it is just engine abuse at the end of the day. You're really abusing the window.
The timing window,
to be able to like get as many notes under star power as possible to make sure.
And you know what else is you know what else is abusing the engine? Spamming and ghosting. That's another thing too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, people complaining about like engines being a bit too loose. It's like I can understand that, but at the same time, there are plenty of aspects where the engine is loose and you're okay with it in certain circumstances. It's just a matter of like not abusing it to like make it seem like you're better than you actually are.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point. So I kind of want to talk about up and coming players, since we briefly mentioned one. Obviously, the teenager, almost teenager, who knows himself, Borealis. Wow, he's been surprising the hell out of me. I remember I found him through his, was it something of the Mines?
Minds of the Mad.
Minds of the Mad. And I was like, okay, this is really good. And I was like, who the hell is this kid?
That's what first turned my head on him too. I was like,
same here.
Who is this F-seeing Minds of the Mad?
Yeah, like
man?
that FC wasn't like quite as legendary compared to like some of the FCs he's doing now, but like it would like because it's already been done before, but like at the time it's like who the fuck is this like 3-year-old kid hitting this fucking insane shit? It's like this kid has so much potential. I look forward to seeing what he does in the future.
And also, it was like first ever on Clone Hero too. First ever on Clone Hero where people bitch about the strumming engine a lot.
Mhm.
It's not that bad.
Which
people.
I
bad.
totally disagree on it. Yeah, like,
It's not that bad, guys.
mm-hmm.
Come on.
Like especially in comparison to GH3, like if you're gonna use GH3 as like your reference engine to complain like about Clone Heroes engine, you you have very clouded judgment.
Go play Rock Band 3. Go play Rock Band 3 and tell me how many times you deserve to hit a note, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, it's like then you'll have a reason. Like then you'll have reasons to complain because you've seen it on like both sides. But like it's just insane how good Borealis is, and he's only getting better too. Like and like at this point he's got so much time to get better too. Like in our case it's like age is probably going to be working against us at some point.
Oh, of course. Then I'll be fucking playing Dicko mode until I die.
Yeah, dude,
That's what's gonna happen, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna be streaming Clone Hero in my 60s, dude, and I'll die of a heart attack when I FC past the hard part. Nerves are
with the what is it? The Xbox adaptive controller.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, he like Borealis is absolutely fucking insane, and he really is like the future of the game. Like him and Send It for me, those are like the two that I'm like most hopeful for.
I recently found Ornej.
Ornej is really
Ornej.
good too.
Yeah.
I found him by accident.
He's not really like an up and comer, but like he's been
around, and you could see like a lot of his progression in his videos. He's ridiculously good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as far as like tapping songs are concerned, like he is fucking sickening, and like that's what I particularly like about Send It and Borealis in particular is like they're so good, but their skill sets are completely fucking different as well. Like Send It is much more in line with like the stuff that I do, like very.
I see that paralleled a lot because like
tapping parts that aren't met with like a particular pattern or anything. It's just like
impromptu sweep tapping. Yep.
Yeah, it's like shit like that. Like he does like the same shit I do, whereas Borealis is just like he has that stuff too, but he like as far as like tapping shit is concerned, he's at a whole new level. But at the same time, Send It's doing really good as far as tapping goes as well. So like again, it just goes to show that like the skill ceiling for them is going to go way beyond where it is for us.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Like I would put I would put like Ornej on like, you know, the same level as like literally all the tappy boys, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
and
that's where he's
at. It's not to like dismiss that like playing style either. Like that's stuff that's completely outside of my comfort zone. Like I don't know how the fuck they do it. Like,
I don't know. I don't think I could do like half of of Ornej's video catalog.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, do half of that at all. So,
yeah. I tend to prioritize a bit more of like the more well-rounded players that go beyond just tapping, but like Ornej makes some stuff that's absolutely sickening to me as well.
Yeah, not really up and coming either, but like a one slept on a lot. GH Noob.
Oh yeah, is he still around?
I think he posts every other month or so.
Yeah,
like his last upload was like a month ago, but he's a very technical player, and he both knows like his strumming shit. He knows like his tapping methods. Like I don't think I've seen him ghost once. I don't like. Yeah. He's a very, very accurate player.
Mm-hmm. Just looking at some of the songs that he FC'd, just looking through his videos right now, like I could already tell like the kind of shit he did, and like I'm aware of him. Like I just haven't seen him in a while, so I'm like having a bit of a refresher looking back at what he's done. But yeah, like that kind of shit. Like that's the skill that like really appeals to me. Just like well-rounded, like just completely disregarding like any ghosting or spamming, just like taking it for how it is.
Yeah.
Another player that I feel like is being slept on, and he's a bit of like an OG as far as like the competitive side of the community is concerned. And I'm so glad to see him back and playing again. Is William GH Addict?
Oh
Like,
yes, absolutely,
Yeah, dude.
dude.
His
Will's the
skill
man.
fucking sickens me.
I didn't
Will's
realize
awesome,
how good
dude.
he was getting again until I was like, okay, that's good. Okay,
Dude,
that's
and
really
it's like-
good.
And he's been very casual up until recently, and it's just crazy seeing him playing catch up and so easily getting to where we're at and we've like been working towards for so long. It's just like he was off like with the skill that he had in like 2013, and then like we're going off and he finally comes back and he's like, oh, I could do that easily. And it's like a month later he's already to where we're at that we spent like years getting to.
I didn't even know he had that much speed.
Yeah, his speed is disgusting, and
I
his
had
accuracy,
zero idea.
Like, chord related shit as well, tapping related shit. Like he's FC'd both Panger and Vinner, which are like complete opposites in terms of skill set. So
And he's a console guru.
I was just
also.
about to say that his Rock Band stuff is phenomenal.
yeah, like he's
Yeah.
he's not only a top Clone Hero player, he's also a top Rock Band player, and that just goes to show like how versatile.
To be
his
that
skill set
I was
is.
just about to say, yeah, to be that versatile, I feel like is especially adapting to those sort of timing windows every time. I feel like it just throw you off at that point, or in some cases, it can even complement one another because if you're playing on such a strict engine, you know, the Clone Hero almost feels like a joke at times. You're like, oh my god, I can
Yeah,
do all
pretty
this
much.
now. So, who else did I want to bring up? I wanted to bring up one more player. Well, I wanted to bring him up because I think he's underrated, and you guys obviously know him because he got Alec 14 million views. I'm talking about Gammo.
Oh yeah, Gammo
Yeah.
is.
I
he's
love
like the
Gammo.
He
he's the
is a
absolute
wizard.
guru.
He is ridiculous.
He's the wizard
I
of
don't get
Guitar
him.
Hero.
Dude, his Sleigh Bells
Dude.
FC is so good.
Yeah, dude,
I
that's
love
one of
it.
the best videos. That's one of the best Clone Hero videos, like and one of the best like Guitar Hero videos I have ever seen.
I absolutely agree.
And no-
It's so good.
I love
and-
it.
And not only that, but like he's like the best example of like a community member that's been constantly like just challenging himself throughout the years and just setting new standards for like skill sets that can be achieved that no one would think they'd be able to do, and just like putting the skill ceiling just even higher and higher. And like it always happens. Like back in 2010 he was doing it, back in 2013 he was doing it, and even now he's still doing it. Like he's
Yep.
I
been
wish he
able
would
to
upload
keep
more.
up with he's been keeping up with everyone, and not only that, but like been doing better than pretty much everyone.
He has such
as well.
interesting form. His form is very intriguing to me. The way he holds the guitar and the way he strums.
The 90-degree shit.
angle up strumming.
Yep.
It's insane.
It's gross. It's gross. Maybe that's like the trick to his skill. Like, maybe I
And
need to learn
also-
that.
Also, he's like spawned a new term in terms of like tapping, because you rarely see him elbow strum. in
Yeah.
his
Oh,
videos,
his
right?
one handing is.
So-
he can't. He can't with that
Yeah,
setup.
so like people call it teleporting. Which is so, I think that's
I
so
love it.
funny, but it's so true. It's so true though, because he just teleports his hand from the fucking strum bar up to the button so fast, incredibly
Oh
fast.
yeah, the Sleigh Bells FC
And you
says
see,
it all.
You see that in Sleigh Bells. You see that in Sleigh Bells. Yep.
No, another thing about him is like, despite how technical he is, like he's known to be absurdly technical and do all that stuff. But then he's like a silent boss because he can also do meta-oriented stuff. Like we saw him being one of the first people to, whatchamacallit, Technical FC Solas 5. He was the first to FC Panger. He can do all this stuff. Tammy's song. Let's be real here. It's insane. Like you want to expect that sometimes because he does all this underrated stuff that no one would usually do. And then he's like, well, hold on, I can keep up.
Yeah, it's like don't sleep on me, motherfucker. I'm just about to take this FC that you've been dreaming of getting.
Yeah, you could throw all this meta
And I
bullshit
know-
at me. I'll take care of it tomorrow.
See, that's the thing with me and like my skill as well. Like I like going for like first ever FCs and trying to prove people wrong as far as like certain things go, but I feel like at this point, like the like anti-meta like shit, just like finding specific ways to challenge myself, like that's what I'm all about at
Oh
this
yeah.
point. And it's like I found a niche in that aspect, and like Gammo is partly to do with that as well. For me.
Gammo, if you're hearing this,
I
please upload
like,
more.
Yeah,
we all
please.
love him. He's in my streams a lot, and it's always fun to talk to him. Like he's a great dude.
Yeah.
Now
He makes some very, very fun like overcharts and stuff.
I was just
He
about to
shows me
mention
some
that.
He
awesome
knows
patterns.
He knows what we want to play in particular.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta look for.
His skill set is very similar to ours.
Oh, I was just about that. Just reminded me of something. I think I was talking to you a while ago about this, Randy, about like the concept of now in Stepmania they're called dump charts, where they're not really charted to the music necessarily, and I feel like an entire pack just like fun as hell, goofy ass patterns thrown over like pop songs or like bangers would be such a sick concept for a pack.
Like, yeah, I remember I was talking to you about that because like I was talking about how like in like Stepmania or just mania based games in general, I like how the charts are more like rhythmically oriented rather than solely focusing on pitch, because at that point you could get so creative and like the sky's the limit. You could do what you want.
Oh, exactly.
You're not restrained to what the song is actually doing. You could just do whatever the hell you want. And it's stuff like that that I absolutely love.
I think it would allow other genres to get into the game too.
Yeah. Like speedcore or something. Just imagine like a lot of the songs that are primarily played in Mania-based games coming over to Clone Hero and being charted in that kind of way where it's more rhythmically oriented rather than pitch oriented. Like, I mean,
it's like tricky for this game because it's so set. It's called, well, I mean, obviously it's Clone Hero now, but like it's Guitar Hero. It's supposed to be charted to the music.
And I'm sure a lot of the like chart snobs would probably be upset about that.
Oh,
but
of course.
Me personally, as someone who doesn't like, I obviously value like accurate charting, and I appreciate the work that goes into it. But I want some creative shit too. I want some goofy shit.
You know, like basically like you know, with like the mod chart explosions and stuff like that. You know, with how Ori charts his stuff is perfect. I love his for
so much.
His like his vision of how, you know, because he's super into like sound voltex and stuff, how he basically adapts, you know, the type of music that goes into that game or that's played on that game, how he adapts it to Clone Hero it's perfect to me.
Yeah, it's like,
to me, I think that's like the patterns that he creates stuff makes sense. The patterns that he puts in make sense. You know, the way he takes advantage of like Moonscraper for extended sustains and stuff like that it makes sense in my opinion.
I also think there's so much interpretation for just a whole new wave of charts or charters to enter the scene. I really do. And I think hopefully in the future there will be some like predecessors to really push the boundaries and be like, okay, this is fun. We need to make more of this.
And I feel like Ori is like the perfect example of that. And like again, I love like accurate charting and like what like the community has built up with like all the like great charters we have today. I absolutely love them to death. But I feel like in that it's kind of created like a sense of like elitism where it's like, no, it needs to be done this specific way, and any deviation from that is just bad charting. And it's like, it depends on like what your purpose is for the chart. Like again, if it's more rhythmically oriented, like you got some like speedcore mania type shit, like obviously like you can get creative with that stuff and make it a bit more unique to you as a charter. And that's the kind of shit I love, because that makes the game more fun to me, because you can only play like accurate charts for so long until it kind of just becomes monotonous.
Exactly. So, you just need to let loose sometimes.
Seeing someone like Ori not only do that kind of charting but do it so incredibly well and uniquely is what I love seeing, and I respect him so much for that.
I kind of want to go back to the rivalry thing just because I didn't. I wanted to get a little more insight on it with the whole.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure, yeah.
I kind of want to start. I don't know if I want to start with Through the Fire and Flames or Solas For because they're. Oh man, they're both just so great. I guess we could start with Through the
And we
Fire
got
and
a lot to
Flames.
say.
I'd imagine. So.
Uh-huh.
Where do I want to begin with this? I guess we could start from the whole 125% thing, like how that all started. Because I know George decided to come out of nowhere and go for that, but then that like sparked a flame in some of you guys, and you guys wanted more.
The thing is, if you want to say something, Alec, I'm gonna go off on a tangent about it.
It
so
fucking like that kick started a lot of Guitar Hero coming back, like to watch it on Twitch, and people like kind of don't really. I mean, I guess I don't know, but people don't really realize that's such a important piece of like Guitar Hero content, Guitar Hero footage, or any. The first ever Through the Fire and Flames 125 FC basically kickstarted everyone, and a lot of people don't really think about that.
A lot of people in the community just dismiss people that play Through Fire and Flames and upload Flames-related content because they think it's like, oh, you're just fishing for views because it's like, oh, that's the easy song to work with. But, like, they don't realize how important that song is to, like, Guitar Hero just history in general. And, like, if you want to bring back a community, like, I hate to say it, but, like as much as like the hardcore community hates like casuals and like normies, but like you want to appeal to them to some extent, like that's
absolutely. No, I 100% agree with that.
And I hate those terms as well, like casual and normie, but like for a lack of a better term, it's like those are the people that you want to be appealing to if you want to like basically kickstart the community come back. And George was fully aware of that, and that's the reason why his Through Fire and Flames 125 FC was
viral.
basically the video
viral
that revived the community. It definitely gave me a reason to come back as well. But
I think it brought everyone back.
Yeah, it really did. It really, really did. And like, you know, and I am sort of being like, stop requesting Flames, dude. But like, you know, lately, sorry if my microphone is fucking up.
It's all good.
But lately, it's just been like, all right, you want Flames? I'll give you Flames. Boom, Flames 225 run. Right.
Yep.
There. That's it. That's it right there. That's what makes it fun for me, dog.
The thing is like, that's why like I have so many videos of me uploading Flames, and it's like, it's like one, it's just good content. It gets me a lot of views, and I know people love seeing that stuff. But two, I just love finding ways to keep that song being fun for me. So I'm always like trying to find new goals to set for that song, and not just that song, but like
it's almost like paying your respects.
Song. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like that, my Blindfolded Flames FC basically like really helped build my my Twitch community.
Yeah, I still what is wrong with you?
I don't believe that.
Yeah, as far as like
up, dude.
that was me at my sweatiest. But as far as like the 125 like FC is concerned, like I mean, it's like it pretty much started out as just going for scores. I mean, like the main person that comes to mind for me that was like doing scores on the song was G Gamer Man. Like he'd do a lot of runs at 125.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like there was no plan in his mind to FC it at all. It was just for fun, and it was like a way to keep that song enjoyable for him, and it was just fun going for high scores. And that's the only person that comes to mind as far as like playing 125 a lot and just like going for scores, because at around that point, that's when the community pretty much died, and it like became just like a small handful of like hardcore players at that point. There was no casual market whatsoever.
No,
and then
it was just a bunch of fucking. It was that was when Guitar Hero 3 PC just that blew up. It was basically like our ghetto clone hero, you know.
It was pretty much a bunch of nerds, but like in the best way possible. They were sick. They were sick at the game. They were nerds, but like there wasn't that audience.
Some
sadly,
of them way ahead of their time.
Oh yeah,
ahead of their time too.
I can't even begin to describe.
Dog.
Yep. Pretty much. When like George came back to streaming, like I don't know like the whole history with like what made him decide to go for it at 125. I imagine it was just a idea he had, like a what if kind of deal, but like maybe he was just going for high scores, and then eventually he reached a point that like he decided I'm gonna go for this, because I wouldn't know because at that point I wasn't really involved with the community. I was more focused on just like getting school and work done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like early 2015. I don't even think I was thinking about it either. It was like, definitely an idea in my mind, but I was like, how would I get this to work? You know?
Yeah, and then like I guess it just eventually reached a point where George was like, all right, I could do it, and just has been on that grind for months on end. And I wasn't aware of it at all whatsoever. I didn't even know like he was around. I didn't know he had like a following on Twitch or anything. I assumed everything was like pretty much dead on that front. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I see his 125 FC video just like blowing up, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, since when was George back? And it's like, what the fuck? Since when would a Guitar Hero video get millions of views out of nowhere?
Yep.
And not only that, but how would like, in what world would a Guitar Hero streamer be able to do it full time and like make it like such a comfortable living situation for him? Like that shit was just like insane in my mind. I was like, I'm so glad to see like the community's back in some way. And at like pretty much at that point, I was already thinking like I need a hobby to keep me from going insane with work and school. So like he was the reason that I decided to like get back into the game to begin with, because like I never bothered because I figured there was just no audience for it anymore.
Yeah, it was a breath of fresh air. It made you realize like there were people who maybe wanted to see the game, but they didn't know it was there.
It was a perfect storm because it was like a combination of like George getting this like absolutely amazing accomplishment, that as well as like there were people who were feeling very nostalgic about Guitar Hero 3 in the first place, because that was like the one Guitar Hero game that like is still in people's minds because it was such a huge game for the time. So like George's FC, along with that nostalgia factor of people being like, man, I'd love to see another game like this. Like it was just like a perfect storm, and it basically revived the community, at least to some extent. Like, and it brought me back as well, and I've just been like riding that wave ever since. So
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, sometimes all it takes is like, it really just takes one video. Sometimes it's phenomenal, like how it just, I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, that's what Solas For did too. Solas For really revolutionized like the competitive spirit again. It was like, it's kind of like Through the Fire and Flames, and then settled in, and like things were going really well, and then Solas For was like still growing and growing to the point where like it just became super competitive.
In a lot of ways with Solas For, it's kind of like the FL Studio song equivalent to Flames, where it's just like the ultimate gauntlet like of like a challenge, and it's like it requires all these different skill sets, and it's like the perfect way to test someone at their skill. Like, and it appealed to so much of the community, especially like me and Alec. Like we have our history with that song.
Yeah, no, that was just us fucking posting videos. I think the reason why I think I even considered it in the first place, I was just like, wow, Randy's got first place. Let me try this song. It's been a while since I've played it. And then I was like, wow, I can never reach 2.5. So I was at more of a battle with myself at that point. So once I was just like, okay, I can reach these scores, blah blah blah. Then it was just like, all right, I kind of want to try and get real good at this shit.
And you really just completely blew past expectations with what people could do with the song, even like your expectations. So
I think that -10 run did it all. The one where you FC literally everything but like 2 sections.
Yeah, that's probably my best, and that's probably like the best run, magnum opus work on that song for me. It'll never get better than that, because I'm not playing that song again, dude.
For me,
too long.
For me, it was just like I had first place for the longest time, and like I was only interested in going for high scores. And for me, like it was, for me, the long-term goal on GH3 was to get to 2.6 million, and I eventually reached that. I was like, all right, I have no reason to play this again. But then Clone Hero came out, and
overlapping star power,
overlapping star power. And I was
yeah.
like, you know what? Maybe I could squeeze out a 2.7 run in there as well. So I spent a few extra months trying for that, and then I eventually got it. And at that point, I was pretty much like, all right, no reason for me to play this again. I'm moving on to different things. And that's when you and Darkly decided to show up and completely destroy me.
Yeah, and it's just, and then that was the thing. It just like it went from like the biggest score grind, because not once in those grind streams a year ago did I ever put Solas For FC attempts. I never once put that in the title ever, not once.
That was like that was the fun of it.
That was the fun of it. That is where I had my fun. That's where I loved the memes that I liked. Then once it came down to like something I wasn't trying for, that's when I was just like, I'm walking away from that, because that's not something I can handle. I legitimately could not nail those settings in a real run, let alone on a full combo run.
So about that video, the no one will FC Solas For. So what was I actually want to know your thought process into making that video. Was it like kind of a spur in the moment? Was it the barrage of people saying like...
That was a one take.
I was there in his stream too, like rooting him on and like just like pressuring him to talk about it.
That was basically like a one take rant. I talk a lot in my streams, and I still do. That's just a part of me, man. I'm very passionate about the game. I talk a lot of shit. I'll take a lot of L's, whatever. I that's fine. At the end of the day, you enjoyed yourself watching. The people who probably stopped watching me entirely because I don't do Solas For anymore. You got enjoyment out of that video, and that's what matters to me, man.
Yeah,
that's just a part of me that came out, and that's just what happened.
Was it just all the people who came together, and you were just like, I need to tell them this is bullshit. They're wrong.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, man. Just like I was like, I played the song and I was like, dude, this is ridiculous. This is insane. The emotions got the best of me, and I just started ranting, and it just became this like long iconic fucking long iconic rant. People like, I'm not like saying, I'm iconic. It's just like, people recite so many parts of the video so many times in my chat, and it's just like, yeah.
I saw it in you. Like, you would just scroll through the sections so fast. You were like, you were just on autopilot at that point. You were just going off. It was so funny.
It became real. It was real, dude, because it was just like, I honestly believe I'm just literally addicted to Clone Hero. I play this game off stream when I want to just play a game. I feel like I always need to be playing it somehow, some way. And there are times where I just like load up the game and I feel like I'm just on autopilot. I don't even feel like I got anything done. I just played it, just play it. It's weird.
I'm surprised you guys play for so long.
Yeah, Randy's the one that took like the most extensive break,
Yeah, like I know with you, Alec, you've been around in the community, never took like any real breaks. It's just like sometimes you'd be more on the ball than some other points, and then of course it became like your full-time deal with streaming. So now there's like more of an incentive at that point. But like, it's like at the end of the day, it's just like we're really passionate about the game, and we're gonna like continue to find some ways to keep it fun for us.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever experienced any injuries playing this game?
No, none.
Wow.
None in my case, at least.
Probably just a ripped fingernail. That's it.
Really? See, that's actually fascinating to me, because like I don't think I've ever heard of a single injury in Clone Hero, but with Osu and Stepmania, I mean, in Stepmania, there's been people in the I want to say like 8-9 years ago that actually have carpal tunnel right now.
I feel like that more has to do with like just like overall posture and like habits that they formed when playing the game to begin with, like how like your wrist is like down and like you're arching your fingers over. Like I'd imagine that's not the healthiest.
That's why I play wrist up. I play with my wrists hovered above, so that way I'm not really using I'm using like my forearms and like stuff like that. So usually I like to say
tension going on at that point.
No, and in my tutorial video I always said like wrist up there's a lot less risk for injury, whereas wrist down, even like secretaries and people who like type for a living, they're more at risk for carpal tunnel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because they have their wrist planted down and their fingers extended.
Like, I don't know. I mean, like, that makes sense because, like, with just like typing on a keyboard in general, you're very you're much more susceptible to that than like say like a real like guitar player or anything, because like they formed habits that like keep them from doing that, and it's not quite as intense on your fingers compared to like at the end of the day it's just posture.
I feel like I just had like a sudden realization, and that's why I there's this one stream that I did where people wanted me to play on a keyboard, so I was like, okay, I'll do this Mania style. I'll do this with like the standard ASJKL that they have for the game, and then like I didn't realize I was playing wrist down, and my right hand actually fucking hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
I'm like, my right hand actually hurt. My left hand, honestly, I don't know. One day this thing's gonna drop dead. Who knows? That's not anytime soon.
I've noticed more instances of like my hands hurting from like the point when I stopped playing Guitar Hero and started playing like Step Mania and Osu. Like my hands would hurt a lot more in that instance than they ever did on Guitar Hero or Clone Hero. But like, it's basically like I played the game for so long, I found like avoided. Like, it's mainly a matter of like playing as lightly as possible and doing it for like 7-hour streams at a time. Like, it's in your best interest to make sure it doesn't hurt you in any way whatsoever. And I feel like I've done. I feel like I've like
7
found
hours.
a way of playing.
That's crazy to me. I can't play. I usually advise players not to play longer than 2 hours. I mean, I guess it varies between games, but like, wow, that's just crazy to me. And I guess with streaming, you have to commit to a certain amount of time, but wow, that's impressive to me.
The thing is like with streaming, and this is like my favorite thing about Guitar Hero and Clone Hero in general, is just how social of a game it is, and like interacting with people. Like that's the like those are the instances where I have the most fun playing Clone Hero. Most of the time, I rarely even play the game unless I'm streaming it. Like, if I'm playing the game just casually, all I'll think in my head is, like, why the fuck am I not streaming this? Like, because if I'm not having, like, interaction with anyone while playing, it feels like I'm just wasting my time.
Oh, I pretty much only play when I stream.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's like, you've been playing a game for so long, it eventually becomes, like, boring, and then you got to find new ways to keep it enjoyable for
exactly
yourself.
Can't relate because I'm legit. I'm probably addicted to this, but that's okay. That's okay too.
No, I'm addicted to the game too. It's just like I'm finding excuses to keep playing the game, because it's like realistically, like, if streaming didn't ever take off for me, and like I found like so much enjoyment in playing for my chat, like I probably would be like done with it and like just move on to other things.
I'd be dead in the streets probably. 100%.
I don't know if I'd quite be there, but like my life would be a lot more boring.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'd be boring as shit. I'd probably still be locked up in my parents' house, just not doing anything.
Yeah, ever. I'd probably still be working my shit job at McDonald's, like having like a dead end job, not knowing what I'm doing with life, and probably have a shit ton of college debt or some shit.
Oh no.
Oh God, don't even.
I was just about to say, don't even start on that.
Yeah.
When did you guys realize you were top players? Like, when did you get to that point where you realized how good you were, and how did you get there? Because sometimes a lot of players have trouble. Like, they become top players, but they're like, how did I get here exactly? Like, what methods did you maybe use to get there? Or was it just playing? Like, did you just get good by playing a lot?
I'll let you start.
For me, it was like, as soon as like my brother and his friends were like freaking out watching me play because I was a little kid playing the game. As soon as he said that, I just kind of, because I'm the little brother of the family, I always want to impress. I want to be like, oh yeah, look at me, I can do the cool thing because I'm a little kid. I can do the cool thing. And you know, like there was a time where I was just like, wow, I just want to kind of do something really cool. And you know, and if Guitar Hero is my thing, let's try it, let's do it. And then Guitar Hero was the biggest game in the entire world at some point in like 2008 or 9. And then I wanted to kind of keep on top of that, and that's when I like really started like uploading, you know, like offhand videos to my YouTube channels, digital camera or some shit, whatever it may be. I just wanted to show the world that was something I was able to do. And I think once I started taking the competitive side like really seriously, like actual competitive, like when tournaments were still being held for the game, old cyber games, like that was a thing that was going on. And then Guitar Hero was one of the games that that was like an official competitive game. I wanted to be the best at that, and that's when I started thinking about like star power paths and squeezing, and you know, stuff like that. You know, that's a completely different. It was a completely different meta, but I can still sort of feel it today, a little bit.
Yeah. In my case, it's pretty much the same deal. Like, start out by impressing like my brothers and my friends, because like I'm just a little kid that like priorities are more focused on like showing how good I am at video games rather than like focusing on like school or some shit.
Who needs that?
Yeah, dude.
And then it eventually reached a point where I noticed people were uploading videos to YouTube, and there was like a whole community, and it's like, oh, I want to get involved in this. And then once I reached that point, it was more like trying to impress people within the community and like trying to prove myself, like, because like you think you're so good until you actually see the top players like who are like invested in uploading videos, and then you realize like I'm not even close to that. But then, but then you have like then you have that drive to get better, and that's pretty much what it was like for me. Like one of my favorite examples was back in like 2007 when Through Fire and Flames wasn't FC'd yet. Similarly to Through Fire and Flames 125 and Solas For, people were just going for high scores, and like I remember it was like going for 750k, then going for 850k, then going for 900k, maybe 950k, and like I was there the whole time like trying to like meet everyone else, like Hell Ashes and I'm Chris for Life, like all the people who are going for high scores. I was there like with them, maybe not like uploading videos, but like I was just like I was trying to go along with the community at that point, and then of course it reached a point where it's like, okay, why go for high scores when you could just go for the FC? And then Chris was the one who did that. It's just like you're like following the community, trying to keep up with the trends and like what people are doing in that case, and then you eventually reach a point where you're like, I feel like I could go beyond that and like kind of set the trends at that point. So.
And it was unreal at TwitchCon talking to Chris, because he really wanted to like be caught up on like the meta and like what Guitar Hero was up to.
He was like catching up
to, and he was super invested in that, and like that was something that I never thought I would. As a kid, I never thought I'd be ever able to do. It was seriously like such a good highlight of that whole thing. Talking to Chris and just being like, "Yo, this is what we're doing now," and you set the precedent for this, and this, and then like we had that meetup at the hotel.
I saw that. That was so sick.
That was cool. Seriously the sickest.
That was amazing.
Sickest moment of my life. My younger self would be so fucking hyped, and like and I was just like, oh, the whole time I was drunk. I was talking to Chris, and I was like, dude, why am I drunk right now? I'm talking to Chris, man.
It's like just full like fangirl mode. It's like if my 13-year-old self was like placed in that situation, he would die of a heart attack, dude.
Exactly.
And it's like it's such a good feeling when like you realize how great of a community you have when they could all just come together in instances like that. I'm sure like
and like barely miss out on any time at all.
And it's like I'm sure you have like your own instances of like that as well with your respective communities. Maybe not quite to the point where it's like a giant get-together meetup at a convention, but like
not quite, like but it would be great to see that in the future. Oh
yeah, like it's like in a lot of ways, like you make like these friends in the community where it's almost like family at that point, you know. And it's like it's weird. It's so dumb to say that because it's like we're just a bunch of sweaty nerds playing Guitar Hero.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Sometimes it's some dumb shit like that. That's all it takes to like just like build this like really involved and invested community, and like I love it, dude.
While the Stepmania community might not like do meetups and stuff that much, the ITG community, the In the Groove community, and DDR, they're such a great group of people. They really are. They meet up
I'm sure
so much. There's so many tournaments, and maybe not as much, and I could be wrong, but there was an era where there were tournaments everywhere, but they were like so niche, but at the same time like everyone knew who each other was. Everyone had each other added on Facebook. Like everyone was great friends, and you'd have these like 90 to like 100 and some people meetups at like this like some shitty arcade, and it was great.
I see that with Pump It Up at Igloo Arcade. Shout out to Seth. Just because like, yeah, happy feats, man. Yo, congrats to him. He's gonna have a family, dude.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Shout out to Seth.
Congrats.
Shout out to Seth and
Shout
the
out to
lady.
Seth and Alex, dude. Oh
That's
my gosh,
awesome.
they're wonderful people, and like they like every time I go over to the Igloo Arcade, always people, and it's just like, wow, dude, this is fun. Like they basically have a rhythm gaming house, and it's basically like the dream of like most rhythm gaming players, dude. They have a rhythm gaming house.
Like imagine if we had that. Like that'd be both the greatest room and like the
house would smell
smelliest
terrible.
The smelliest room on the fucking planet, dude. But it'd be worth it. Like we just have to quarantine the neighborhood, and it could just be us sweaty nerds.
Oh
I
well,
love
the
it.
circus is in town, you know, like.
There's Randy naked again.
Why do they all keep calling him Dad?
Yeah, dude. That would be cool. One day. I don't know if that would ever happen. I would love to see that come from the Clone Hero community. I would love to see that one day.
I mean, if the Melee community can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a pipe. It's like a pipe dream, but like it's fun to think about. Like really, how practical could it be? Because like I'd imagine if we were all together, like in a house or something playing the game, we would get sick of hearing that noise so fucking much so fast. But like, I mean, it's all. Well, in my case, for sure, I'd imagine I'd get sick of it.
But for me, I don't think so. It's just white noise to me. I'd fall asleep to that.
But like in the case of just like once in a while kind of meetups and get-togethers of the community, it's such a good feeling, man.
I know, and we gotta again. We gotta meet up again soon,
dude. So, I mean, like, just hit me up anytime. I'd be down to fly there, or you fly out here, or something. Like, get other people
plan
involved.
Something out. Just something.
Sub goal.
Something to do before, you know, my wedding and shit like that, dude.
Yeah,
I want something to happen.
That'd be so sick.
Yeah.
But to kind of like bring it back to like the whole like competitive side and like skill wise, pretty much, yeah, it's just like following the community and seeing where it's all like headed, you know, and just trying to play catch up with everyone else, and then eventually you reach a point where you realize like your skill in a lot of ways might be better or maybe worse than other people, and just like finding what works for you and just focusing on that.
No, yeah, I think it's hard to find it's hard to find that ground sometimes where, you know, sometimes you do need people to compare to, and not for the sake of competition, but to say like, okay, I think I know where I'm at, and then you kind of improve from there. So I feel like that's like, you know, the main key to improvement, just finding your range, because sometimes people can get a little too carried away. They try to play stuff too out of their range, and they often get discouraged, or they, you know, pick up very bad habits. But I think that's definitely one of the key factors to it. It's just finding your range.
Understanding both your strengths and weaknesses is like the best way to get better.
And man, those YouTube videos they do not do the hours and you know, all the streams and hours of like practice and work. It does not do it enough justice, because it's so easy to look at a YouTube video and be like, okay, this guy can hit some nasty shit. I'm sure he could do it like all the time. It's so easy to
like on command.
On command. It's like, no, dude, we sat down for hours, probably on like 10-15% speed, trying to learn this part, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have.
That's part of the reason why, like, I try to like mix it up with my videos, whether it be like the just the dumb unique FCs and like trying to find ways to challenge myself, like because they'll show specific skill sets as opposed to others. But like an FC will only tell you so much about a person's skill because like you don't know what their limitations are if you just see them hit everything. And that's why I like going for a lot of high scores on ridiculous songs at fast speeds, because once they see what I can't do, that's like a better understanding of like my skill set. And I like seeing those videos from like you as well. And that's why I like the Solas For score grind so much, because it was people really pushing themselves compared to the FC, where I feel like there were plenty of people who were technically capable of getting a Solas For FC, but did they really want to sit down and do it? That's like a whole different story.
Yeah.
Compared to like going for like high scores, where like that's where you see the real improvement, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about this briefly before the podcast, and we almost got carried away with it. But so what is the ideal guitar for the game? Is it there are no such thing as that, like some people say here and there, or are there some objectivities that do apply to that statement?
Okay. In my case, like I mean, the ideal controller would be like, say, if it has a strum bar that won't overstrum constantly, but is also viable for raking and consistent raking too, that'd be the perfect strum bar. I feel like frets that have like nice clicky responsiveness to it and like have a decent travel distance to where you could like feel every input being put in, rather than like mushy frets where it's a bit up in the air. Like that would be like the perfect frets too. And in my case, just having a slightly bigger guitar, because I'm like way too tall for this. I'm way too big for this Les Paul. It feels like a toy. So
Slender Man ass, dude.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm that's what I'm looking for. I need a guitar that can perfectly fit like my sweaty composure, you know?
Yeah, no. I mean, honestly, it's more or less an extension of yourself. Like when it gets to this, like that's what all these top players are. Like they basically adapt their guitars to be an extension of themselves. That's why it's so weird when we get new guitars and we like to just like nitpick, and some people like to complain, and that's okay too. You know, the ideal thing is just like, for me, low profile fucking mechanical switches is the frets.
Yep.
Keep the strum bar, but keep it tight. Something like the more so like the bulkier build, because the Wii guitars are actually very cheaply made. They're super cheaply made. But the 360 and the PS3 ones they're a little bit more bulkier, a little bit more they got a little bit of weight on them.
For sure.
Yeah, but like something like that, a kill switch for raking, that would be crazy. But
that'd be oh my god,
that would be impossible. That would probably involve like lasers or some shit.
That'd be sick, but at the same time, you wonder if people are gonna act like that's a game breaker to some extent.
That's true.
I use a foot pedal. I use a foot pedal for star power. You know, like
yeah,
you know that's already something controversial. But
for
then
sure.
like that's already a very controversial like third-party peripheral that a lot of Clone Hero streamers use. Some people put fucking keyboards on the ground. They just stomp on the space bar. Like,
yeah,
that's another thing.
That's
too.
awesome, actually.
It's so like barbaric.
That's amazing.
It really is.
I love that. What's the actuation force
Yeah.
In the buttons? I know, because I know keyboards, they have it listed on the switches, like 45 grams, 55 grams, whatever. Do you guys know what it is for?
I have no clue.
I feel like that would be interesting to know.
All right, so in my experience, I think I probably only tell you that like there are different models of explorers with smaller travel distance. There are some explorers that have longer travel distance, but they feel clackier. The shorter distance ones, I can tell you, exists on every single Wii guitar that's out there. Every single Wii Guitar Hero guitar has a shorter travel distance, but the buttons feel like crap unless you play it a lot.
Okay.
Or like you make the cuts or the incisions. And that's also another thing that's I I don't think a lot of people think is controversial or like a questionable move, but
I feel like the difference there is that like yeah, you're modifying the silicone to some extent, but you're modifying it to get it to a point that it would naturally get to anyways with it being broken in, compared to like say like a star power pedal or like a kill switch or something where that's like a third party thing getting involved at that point. It's like you're not changing any of the materials or anything. You're just like you're loosening up the structure of the silicone to some extent.
And also like I know I spoke to Leaf a little bit because he fucking rips apart his like guitars and stuff to make them perfect. And I remember speaking to him, and he did something with his strum bar to make it consistently rake on an Explorer. And he was like, yeah, so I took out 2 of the screws on the strum bar circuit board, and I put some paper underneath and some tape, and I hard screwed in back the screws. And I'm like, what?
What?
I'm like, what?
That's some sweaty shit.
I'm like, what is that?
Is that legal?
Yeah, no, like that's what I'm talking about. I that's why I don't really see a problem with star power foot pedals, or if different conversation, but these custom guitar manufacturers that are coming up, if they have a kill switch or something, if they seem to add something like that, I wouldn't really see a problem with that, because people are already going out of their way to sweatify and make their best extensions of themselves.
I feel like if that were to happen as well, again coming like from the perspective of not taking like competitiveness all that seriously on my end, I think it would be cool to like have that extra stuff, because it will lead to a lot more creativity and like new ways to find the game fun. It just like, I don't know how people who are more competitively like viable in the community would feel about that, but I mean, I'm for the idea. It'd be interesting. For me, what I'd like to see with custom guitars is pretty much what you mentioned with like low profile switches, where it's like easy to replace them if like you're having issues with your frets not feeling quite how you want them, like getting the switches that like best suit your playing style. Maybe even like I was talking about this on the Clone Hero podcast as well. I'd like to see maybe something where like you could switch out like switches like so easily, as well as like strum bars, to have them more emulate like say like a SG strum bar, or like strum bars that can't rake, like have it play suit to your play style as much as possible. Like just being able to easily replace like your switches for like your frets and your strum bar would be so ideal to me, and like have it like fit like a certain play style for you, because like it'd make things so interesting on that front. And I don't feel like it'd break the game any more than just like playing with different guitars in the first place. Like you're gonna have guitars that rake better than others. You're gonna have guitars that have better feeling frets than others. So just like having those options to basically like take the best like aspects of those controllers for you and like put them in like this Frankenstein monster of a custom guitar, like that'd be sick, because then it makes it easier for you to find the best guitar for you, I'd really like that.
That's why like the Guitar Hero anything is just, once you get down to these specific methods and all these techniques and stuff, it's like, are you going to implement that into like a new controller, or what are you going to, it was definitely made in mind for casual, like Guitar Hero anything. I feel like this is like the same, it's like sort of like a Smash sort of route. Definitely made for casual, but then like if you want to go hard, there's all these techniques and stuff that mostly rely on techniques with your controller abusing the game. Like when people figured out like L canceling or
shield
dropping, all that kind of stuff. It's like rake tapping, rake strumming, quint tapping.
You start to push the limits of the controllers themselves to the point where you have to start figuring out how to get around it or modify it yourself.
Eventually you reach a point of skill where like really you need to have a guitar that best suits your skill sets to be able to do it to the best of your abilities, because like there's only so far that you could go if your controller isn't able to like read those inputs. You know?
So
That
is there
shit dies.
is there a
No.
market that is? I mean, fill me in if I'm wrong. Is there a market that creates or is planning on creating guitars for this game? Because I'm to my knowledge, I'm not quite sure if there is, but I think that would be amazing if there.
There's two as far as I know. I'm only somewhat familiar with one of the sides, working on
GameX.
GamerX guitars, where this
that's
like a whole
that's run by Buckeyes.
and
and
they
it's
have
like
a whole
3D printing and shit.
and they have like a whole team, a whole Discord server where they talk about like the development of the controller, getting input from people, seeing what they'd like to see. I was talking to Buckeyes about that and what I would like to see in a controller as well, and I think he's got a really good idea as to what would best suit the entire community's needs for a controller, and I look forward to seeing if he's able to follow through and like create a controller. Now, I don't know how far it'd go as far as like copyright is concerned and like what
exactly. That was my main concern.
I don't know if he's going to have any trouble with like leeway as far as copyright goes for distributing those controllers. But
the thing is, it goes to the same way as like how do these like custom controller companies get these licenses? Like I know there's game companies that still make GameCube controllers. You know, it's like how would they go about, you know, making a guitar controller, since that's such a weird market.
It makes me wonder if like the patents are still in place though for a lot of these things regarding Guitar Hero controllers, because like I mean Guitar Hero is pretty big within like our community, but as far as like a casual market goes and like being able to like release new Guitar Hero games, it's never going to get back to the point it was back in its prime. So like it's like I don't even know if they really care anymore. That's
what I'm thinking. But then there's Rock Band, Harmonix.
Harmonix is fucking they're
the ones that like created the patent and stuff like that, you know, like that's why I'm like worried for like Phase Shift. What the hell is Phase Shift gonna do, man? They're probably gonna get taken down on the first day. But you know, that's just an outsider's perspective. I don't know any of that game industry patent bullshit. I don't know that, dude.
As far as Activision goes, I'd imagine they don't fucking care.
They don't fucking care. They lost so much money off of GH Live. No way.
But like with Harmonix, it's like that's all they fucking got.
Yeah, if Activision cared, Clone Hero would have been cease and desist. If they cared. I'm dead serious.
Wow.
So
it uses Guitar Hero Live assets, Clone Hero.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a specific mode in Clone Hero where you could play with a Guitar Hero Live guitar and play custom charts at that point. So it's like that mode has been like slept on, but there's
okay, now I know what you're talking about. Six fret.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you know, like, this brings me back to like the whether or not they cared. They cease and desisted a Guitar Hero clone in 2008, I believe, when Harmonix was still making Guitar Hero. Guitar Zero, which is, I mean, you know, the name is much closer than Clone Hero. Guitar Zero 2. You probably find some forum posts on the internet, but they got cease and desisted for using Guitar Hero assets, but that's when Guitar Hero was on the rise.
And then like there's like Frets on Fire that was able to get away with it because they had their
original assets.
They had their own specific assets, and Frets on Fire is like a completely different name where they could have easily went under the radar as far as Harmonix is concerned too, and like they had a lot more leeway than Guitar Zero ever did.
Yeah, that they were much more in the gray area than Guitar Zero was. Because if you look up any footage of like Guitar Zero, there were blatant copies of Guitar Hero 1 and 2. And the engines were very shitty. I'll tell you that. It was like it very, very reminiscent of you know what like, you know, Frets on Fire, Slop Mode, and like you know, some sort of similar to like Clone Hero spamming. And like I said, that's awesome and funny when it produces like really, really fun clips to watch. But either way,
with Clone Hero, like it's a bit hard for them to get away with what they're doing as well with like their assets. As far as Harmonix is concerned, they can't really do anything with that because that's more on
Activision. That's more Activision side.
But that's
Hero.
like that's like part of the reason why like development and plans for Project Note Hitter have been so like delayed, is because like the team was like so like they were so confused as to how they'd be able to make a new game like Project Note Hitter work with like all the legal trouble that they'd probably get in through it.
Yeah.
And like I could totally understand that. And as far as I know, like plans are starting to kind of work out now in their favor, and I look forward to seeing what happens. But I would not want to be in their position at all, because
Yeah.
development wise, they're probably sweating like fucking crazy trying to
Oh,
figure
I
out what
imagine.
Harmonix is gonna do.
If they attempt to monetize anything, they're going to be in a. I really think so. If they attempt to monetize anything at all,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but I think they stick to the rhythm game roots. They're just going to see a continued surge of more players coming into play, and that's why I'm hoping the quality of life updates. Hopefully drums is on its way to.
Ooh.
Drums is on its way. There's actually a guy who tore apart the code of Clone Hero. I don't know if he had the source code or anything. I think he basically just reverse engineered it, and it uses the logic in Clone Hero of gamepad DualShock mode in Clone Hero, and instead of that, you could just play drums.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is
That's amazing.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can pull up the video, because it's like
Yeah,
it's
go ahead.
It's
very
complete. It's
underground.
completely scuffed, but it just shows that there's potential at the very least. It's like a proof of
Yeah, here
concept
we-
kind of thing.
very interesting piece of video.
Yeah, let's see this.
Yeah, it's so rough.
Oh, yep. I remember hearing about this. In the coat hangers is drumsticks.
Nope.
That's all he had.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's
look at that.
amazing.
He's using
But whoa,
using a fucking mechanical keyboard as a foot pedal.
This is the best. I'm subscribing.
Yeah.
It just goes to show how dedicated the community is to get this shit in the game, that they'll do some scuff shit like this just as a proof of concept.
Mm-hmm.
This is phenomenal. I don't know what I'm more impressed by. I'm in awe right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that drum setup is.
This is
the
like a
most
cursed. This is like a
disgusting thing I've
cursed
ever
video, but in like the best way
It's
possible.
very cursed, man.
It's
a
extremely
cursed
Very,
cursed.
very
dude.
cursed. Yeah,
I love it.
I'll have to see if I have see if that's a thing that I can show off to the world as well.
Shoutouts to Bradley Walters.
Zerf, man.
Zerf. Shoutouts to
50
Zerf.
views. 50 views, man.
seen. Sickening.
Yup.
Just gross.
Legend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's about all the time we got. Wow, this has been great. It's
2
been
hours.
2
dude.
hours.
Yeah, it's felt like nothing, really.
Oh yeah, no. Honestly, I could keep talking, but
It was a ton of fun.
no, this was great. I'm really glad we got a lot of stuff covered, just about general skill sets and some
Yeah.
concepts, and even like the future of the game, the past, and yeah, this was great. So, what do you guys
thank you
have
for
going
having
on?
us on.
Yeah, no problem.
It's been so much fun.
My fan base is primarily Turnip players still, so if you guys have anything going on, or let them know like what is good about Clone Hero and why they should go watch you, feel free to let the people know what are going on.
Clone Hero Mobile.
Mobile.
Sicko mode. Forever.
Cursed FCs.
Yep. That's what we got going on. Come watch us. We're pretty sweaty.
Sweaty nerds, dude.
We're
That's what
sweaty
we're all
nerds,
about,
and-
and I know you guys can relate to that to some extent. So like, just find some common ground with us, and you could smell terrible like us too.
Perfect. That's all they need to hear. All right, sounds good. Take care.